What makes me a man? Oh, wait. What makes me a man? Is it my voice? Is it my physique? Is it my muscle? Yeah? Well, according to traditional, if I was in traditional past, that would be the case. But now, our proposers here have masculinity. They want us to think, gentlemen present, that we are not masculine enough. Well, I'm here to tell them, think again. My name is Raphael Mushiri from the great school, Nyeri High School, here to quantitatively oppose this motion that states the current man has lost his masculinity. What don't we see every day? Come on, let's think. What don't we see every day? How about pigs flying? A teacher being wrong. Right? Ladies and gentlemen, let me correct our teachers here. Give me the opportunity to correct them by saying gender equality. In the past, a woman was simply an object. When dowry was paid, it was like I bought a coat. I go and hang it in my house to leave it there and expect that the coat will do everything for me. Right? Wrong. But now, today, as time went on, women were being oppressed. And that is why they stood up and men gave them a forum to put their grievances, and that is when the woman was uplifted. Masculinity simply encompasses attributes typically associated with men, such as assertiveness and dominance. That is according to the University of California Press. Where am I going with this woman thing? Now, today's society, women have flocked every area that was once presumed a man would do it. Let me give an example with wrestling, a pro game. Nowadays, there are professional women wrestlers, right? Don't we know them? We do. Why are they there? How did they get there? It's because men, as human beings as we are, we gave them the forum. We, as soldiers, as they say, never leave one behind. We uplifted them, and now they are where they are. Can we say that masculinity has died? Surely. It is because we are giving them a chance to be masculine than us. Lastly, a boy in Bahicho High School hung himself at home, which is a very, 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 very painful thing to hear. But why did he hang himself? Because the thing that leads to suicide is stress, paranoia, and many other things. What if that man was there and did not share? How did he not share? It is because the man is presumed that I don't talk, I don't share my feelings. That's what makes me a man. That is tradition. We have grown up with it, right? Like, wait, I'm a man, I shouldn't do that. Okay. But now, when a man puts out his vulnerability, empathy, and emotional intelligence without fear of being perceived less masculine, it is good for his mental state. Join me by saying masculinity is still there, but our teachers here are too blind to see it. Thank you.
First proposal is
Should we call it the rise of a weak man or the soft boy era? I'm Violet Wangari, ready to propose the motion that indeed the current man has lost his masculinity. To put clarity on what we are talking about, we shall start by defining the term masculinity. So, what is masculinity? Masculinity refers to a set of behaviors, attitudes, and roles that are generally considered to be typical of men in a given society. Masculinity is often associated with qualities such as courage, strength, and assertiveness, with roles such as being a provider, the protector, and the leader. To drive the first point that indeed men have lost their masculinity, we shall start by looking into relationships. The current man is nowadays proposing to have inequality in relationships. Back then, when men used to be men, they would set off very early in the morning and go to their places of work, be either the office or the farms, and they would toil under the hot sun and come back home with something to provide as a way of providing for their families. But in the current era, the providence role as men has indeed diminished by men asking for a 50-50 role in which a man should provide 50% and a woman should provide for 50%. An example is when a man invites a lady out on a date. How do you take a woman out on a date not having enough money to cater for what you're going to be doing? And then you sit me down and explain to me that you would like us to split a mere 2,000 shillings bill. Kindly make me understand that. How on earth do we start splitting a 2,000 bill between two grown-up people? Yeah? Another point is when a lady calls her partner and she is in trouble and confides in the partner to help her. And the man, with all his strength and masculinity, as they say, is there asking you, wa, sautadu, unanisaidia aje hapo? Yeah? Another point to drive home that indeed men have indeed lost their masculinity is in their parental role. Nowadays, men are not present and carrying out their duties of being parents. Back then, when men used to be men, they would provide for their families. In a family, you would have a maximum number of 5 to 8 children, and the man would provide for all the children, where all the children used to get quality education, they used to be fed, and you never heard of a family sleeping hungry because the man was not there. But in the current era, you will find that most kids are being raised by their mothers, and the men have escaped the role of committing into their parental duties. According to the Standard newspaper article, which was written by Christine Mungai on February 11 in 2017, it says that 45% of children raised in Nairobi are raised single-handedly by their mothers. I believe all of us have indeed studied biology. In order for a child to be made, a man and a woman need to come together. But when it comes to raising the kids, men magically disappear into thin air. Really, is that masculinity? And when the child was being made, you are very much present. Another point to strongly drive home that indeed men have lost their masculinity. In the past, men immediately after circumcision, they used to get to marry, and immediately when they married, they would start carrying out their family duties. A man, after circumcision, would marry a woman, get children, and carry out the family roles. But in the current day, you will find a man with a full-grown beard, a literally full-grown beard, living off his parents and depending him on their parents for everything he needs. Indeed, it is very clear that the current man has indeed lost his masculinity. I rest my case.
The second proposer, your witness.
In the past, men had their roles. They made their roles, but today they don't make their roles. Now I have a question. Look at me. I have a sweater, I have a shirt, I have a trouser. My dad bought this for me. He's doing his roles. Well, he also said that in these days, when you go out for a date, your guy tells you you're going to pay half, I'm going to pay half. Well, I'm sorry for you. Come to me, I won't make you pay half. Allow me, Brother John, from Nyeri High School, to finally oppose the notion that states the current man has lost his masculinity. Now, when I was in Study 6, the year 2018, it was the World Cup year, but now I'm not talking about football. On Friday, 2 p.m., a math teacher comes in and says, hey guys, get out, take a back if you can. After an hour, they come back and they have hampers. Then we wait, boys, we waited 2 hours, 3 hours, we didn't get our hampers. But one thing I remember vividly is that the car that brought the hampers had a poster saying gender equality. Was that gender equality? It wasn't. We were trying to improve the level of the ladies. We were trying to make sure that they come close to the masculinity that we have. Gender disparities in leadership positions. Well, when was the last time you saw in a ballot paper, a presidential ballot paper, that there was a woman leader? I remember that when my dad was trying to talk with my mom about the time for election, there was no women. I repeat, there was no woman, even a single woman. Now, according to the World Economic Forum, in a report in the year 2022, it states 22% of all parliamentarians in the world are women, making that 78% of 20% of all parliamentarians in the world are men. Saying, what is this suggesting? It suggests that we have masculinity, we lead the people. This is achieving the sustainable cities and development. Gender disparities in employment. Traditional, no. We know that in traditional, that all the works that come across hard, engineering, IT, science, go for the men. Now, it is stated according to the International Labour Organization that women get 16% less income compared to the men, meaning we get the best employment opportunities, the best doctors, the best engineers are men. Then how has our masculinity gone down? I pity you. As I finish, gender-based violence, I feel bad. I feel bad for my mom. Yes, there is gender-based violence, but the truth is said. 45% of the trans-Saharan countries, 25% of women in trans-Saharan countries face gender-based violence. From who? The men. Then has masculinity gone down? Remember, we don't leave anyone behind. As soldiers, we take everyone with us. Thank you.
I choose to call it the soft boy era. This is because I think that man has totally, indeed lost his masculinity. I will discuss this in two aspects. I will start with media representation of the current man. Media representation which generally and equivocally we all use media, mainstream media and social media on a daily basis. So, what is traditional masculinity? If we may discuss and talk about traditional masculinity, we can say that a traditional man is a man that was strong, he was stoic, and he was the embodiment of dominance in any household in society. But when we discuss media representation of men, then and now, it is no debate to hold here that man has totally lost all of his masculinity. I will start with the embodiment of a man as a masculine figure. Traditionally, a man could be advertised as the quality and so traditionally a man could be I will start this again. Media representation of a man. Man now and today has changed and evolved. When you talk about a man previously, you could talk about a man who would be feared, who would be respected by society. But when you talk about a man today, even in the movies that we watch today, for example, we will give the example of a man previously, a traditional masculine man, and men that are shown today. For For example, I will give an example of men that embrace vulnerability and emotional openness. For example, in movies like Ted Lasso and Call Me by Your Name, men tend to show that they are more vulnerable this day than they were previously. I would also like to discuss how men have become sassy in the media presentation. Men these days think that having cornrows and let's say we would prefer calling it being more of a woman than being more of a man is more classy than being more masculine than traditional men thought that it would be. I would also like to discuss workplace dynamics. Workplace dynamics will say that a traditional man was the breadwinner in his family. Right now or today, we find that gender roles have changed, and we say they've been more biased onto the female, such that men nowadays work or serve roles that were previously roles that were more feminine than more masculine. This is maybe because of flexible working conditions. We'd also say that those gender roles have blurred the masculine man today from the man that was initially. You'll find that now the woman is the breadwinner of a family more than the man is the breadwinner of the same family. A man is left at home while the lady goes to work. So I think that it is only fair to say that this is our soft boy era, and man has indeed lost all of his masculinity. Thank you.
We shall not open room. Composer, your 3 minutes.
Quotation marks. Gender roles are more biased for women. That's exactly what we are saying. They are below the step. We are letting a hand for them can come up. So on top of us not losing our masculinity, we are now chivalrous. My name is Alvin Kariuki from the Nyeri High School, here to bring life to those who think masculinity is dead. A man thinks masculinity is dead, age, tough. Well, maybe the women pretending to be men maybe got them. Who knows? Let's talk about wolves. I don't mean the team, but it's a pretty good team. I like how wolves function. They run as a pack, they never leave anyone behind, they run as a family. What I like more about wolves is the hierarchy. Our omegas become betas, betas become alphas. All of them are wolves, but just refined versions of the other, where alphas can rule over the omegas and betas can rule over the omegas. It's a whole hierarchy. What am I getting at? In today's society, we have increased awareness and education on how rigid forms of gender roles can go bad. We have learned that a particular way of men doing things, a particular way of women doing things have gone wrong over the years. And we are consciously trying to dismantle these things, trying to bring quality education even to those who believe in death when there is life right in front of them. What I am trying to get at is, that achieves SDG goal number 4, quality education. All of them are wolves, all of them are males, but they are just refined versions of the other. If the boy from Baricho was a refined male, will he be dead today? Are they trying to say you are okay for death? Are you trying to say that if the Sekena pulls me under pressure, I should jump out of Everest? Is that what they're saying? You walk into Nyeri High School, you'll see a word, STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Thank you very much. So, according to United Nations Education Science Organization, it says that only 28% of women are researchers. Can you imagine? 28% of women are researchers. This means that 72% of researchers globally are men. Doesn't this mean we are dominating? This means over engineering, which is a masculine trait, traditionally, we are doing it right. This means we are going into these fields that we are meant to, and we are doing it right. It does not mean masculinity has died. It just means we are lending out a hand to the feminists out there. We are lending out a hand to all the women out there and trying to make them at least see where we stand. Soldiers in war, they never leave a man behind. We are all human. I am human, she is human. We don't leave anyone behind. And on top of that, well, he might have taken you out on a date and wanted to split the bill. But you know, maybe he works hard to fix posts of electricity and risks his life. According to International Labour Organization, 98% of workplace fatalities are male. So before you think about, oh my God, he's saying we split the bill, think about, does he go, oh my God, let me fix her electricity. Thank you for your time.
Ladies, gentlemen, I believe my father's words when he says retaliation is a disease, but thank God I'm here to give you a vaccination. Why aren't we addressing the elephant in the room when you're talking about men have lost their masculinity? Culture. Nyeri High School culture. We abhor the LGBTQ plus community. When you talk about men haven't lost their masculinity, do you suppose that this TikToker, the famous TikToker that we know, Mr. Dennis Karuri, Mr. Kinodia, on being men, I believe that if men have not lost their masculinity, then they wouldn't be engaging roles that are feminine. Take for instance, men who have engaged themselves. We have had the gay marriages in this current era. I'll call it the rise of the weak man. Traditionally, and I do love the traditional culture, in support or in accordance with the creation theory, in fact, all creation theories, men are supposed to marry women, but not men are supposed to be women. Let's take a step back. On the year 2013, I believe you are babies by then. 2013, we had a guy by the name Andrew Mbogwa. Andrew Mbogwa came on TV live and said, and I quote, "I'm not comfortable to be a man. I'd rather be a woman." He changed his personality to becoming an Audrey Mbogwa. That is not masculinity. If at all he understood what being a man is, the roles of being a man, then he would conjure up his sense and not be impolite and continue living his life as a man. Men have a role to take care of their families. In Kenodia's life, let's even take this guy, may his soul rest in peace, Mr. Brian Chira. He was already feminine. If you're addressing the elephant in this room, if you're talking about the gays and the queers, those men who died to be women, and you talking about rights as men, I don't believe that that is masculinity. That is beyond our wildest imaginations. That is not our culture. That is indeed insulting what our Creator did when He created us as men, to be men. Thank you.
I refuse not to look at the elephant in the room, but I believe you're looking at the wrong elephant. A very well-colored elephant eats Richard of York gave birth in vain, but the wrong one. What is masculinity? You have your definitions wrong for a teacher. We are talking about strength, assertiveness, and dominance. Those are the qualities that we are thinking of masculinity. Simple, we dominate, we are strong, we provide, we are assertive. We are looking at the correct elephant because we are objective. We've given you the stats. 95% of men are willing to dominate over the tough jobs and do it on your behalf. 72% of men are able to go and research on dangerous atomic experiments that women are not able to do. Heck, even media are on our side where they want to tell us that if you continue doing this like a man, you're not going to be an efficient person. You're not going to be an efficient wolf. You're not going to become the alpha. So like soldiers, we don't leave anyone behind. Masculinity hasn't died. We're just trying to be alphas. Thank you for your time.
Proposals, 1 minute.
Looking at the wrong elephant in the room, you say, I bet my whole life if your father allowed you to bring another man to marry. And to one one opposer, a question to you: how do I come to you while you wear a trouser bought by your father? One word to the opposer as I rest my case. Just waste no more time arguing about how to become a man. Be one.
I'm trying to confirm that I'm a man. I can't believe it. Ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the very end of our session. And I can bet this was something serious. Wasn't it fire? And I think this should be repeated because we have scores to settle. A student is doubting whether the teacher is a teacher. And a teacher is doubting whether the student is a man. A clap for the teams. As we give our judges time to tell us what they got, I thank God. Am I a man? No. I thank God that as we give our judges time to compile the results, I want to thank everyone very much. I'd like to thank the guys for bringing the floor down of the ceiling. One of them came down. You can conclude. And I am happy that we are here to witness. Shit. I hope the judges will give us the best debater. And in conclusion, we are issuing to the winners the following awards. Madam Lucy, is it awards or awards? Awards. Madam Lucy is a lady. 3 participants will get, is it choir boot or choir boot? Choir. 3 hosts will get spring files, and 2 judges will get that. The quick choir participants, I hope they are here. We still have some goodies for you. And then judges, I'm still trying to buy time so that please give us one hit that we can shake our hands on. Today I want to dance for the crowd. Yeah. Who is that? Who is that? Who is that? Huh? Now we can, you're calling him a star. Oh, Aina? Star. Ah, is it a man or a woman? Oh,